Okay then, how's everybody doing? Well then, hey, quite exciting times we're living in at the moment. A particular fearful group who have not just one leader, they have quite a few leaders, this particular group. Each of them, they all play quite an integral role in discovering and bringing out new things. Which group am I talking about? Well, I think they're abbreviated to the VAA, and just recently they've had what I would call a phenomenal success. Why is this significant? Well, they were branded a group that was more interested in activism than reaching people through more theocratic means. But it's proven now that sometimes with certain people in life, you have to take this kind of stance. And all they're doing is just leading by example, which is quite a phenomenal thing to behold when you see it unraveling. Because a lot of us, we just don't have that kind of courage. What impressed me about the video that's come out from the Canadian television and the vast apostate army's contribution to it, what impressed me, apart from the girls being so honest about what had happened to them, and but it was that particular Zeb, the character Zeb. I just love the way he just said that often he feels quite scared when he's going into the Kingdom Hall to alert people, but he mentioned on camera, he says that he didn't know how he could reach that many people in such short a space of time. But how honest was he to admit that, you know, he found it quite a fearful situation? I really, really respect him for that. Can you really say that amongst the group, anyone played a greater role than anyone else? It seems to me as if you've got a tight band of brothers with that particular group. I mean, I know people by name. Yeah, I know Neil, the Great Apostate. I've not met him and hope to meet him in London come August and have a few beers with him. And I'm hoping to meet Parker. And I want to meet all of you if you're coming over from the States. It's going to be quite phenomenal. Certainly I'll be bringing my cameras. I definitely want to interview a few of you, and I'm interested to see who's been in the truth. I know I keep calling it the truth. You know, if you want to slap me, slap me. I'm interested to see who's been in that religion since birth, because that would put you in the category of me. You know, I've just never known anything other than that religion. But you've done an absolutely fantastic thing just lately. You've got every right to pat yourself on the back, because you had a lot of courage to do what you did, to do this on witnessing that we all saw on camera when you was at the Warwick protest. When we saw that being done, at first we just didn't know what to make of it. A lot of us reserved a lot of judgment as to whether we thought that was a good thing or a bad thing. But it still took courage, and you know, you need commending for that, because there's a lot of people that just sit on their computers and do research, and they're not really frontline soldiers like you guys, because that's what you are. You know, you actually tread the boards, don't you? You're actually plodding the pavement. You're actually taking the fight to the front line. There's not many people doing that. I suppose you could say it's quite easy to sit within the four walls of your house every day and then just get your books out and just do research. That's probably the easy way out. But what you guys have done, you've led by example. And by leading by example, you probably encouraged a lot more people. I do hope that the fund for London, I do hope that you reach your target. I believe that you're looking for 5,000 UK sterling. I don't know what it is at the moment, but I'm sure if you do hit 5,000, that would certainly pay for a few people to come over from States and stand alongside the UK protesters. Again, I just want to say a big thank you. A big thank you for having this amazing courage to go into a Kingdom Hall. not knowing what to expect, not knowing if you were going to be arrested, often thinking that you're going into the kingdom hall and you may actually be going up against God, because let's face it, the brainwashing has always taught us that God was backing that religion. So to actually go into the kingdom hall the way you've done it, and especially got to give a sign to Zeb for what he's done. I know I'm not following you, Zeb, on the tube, and that's simply because I didn't understand what it was that you did, but you was able to explain it quite well in that particular newscasting program, and now I understand what courage you've got. I think it's probably time that I did follow you. I do follow Parker and I do follow Neil. I think I only have at the moment about 15 ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that I follow. It's simply because it's not easy just to follow someone, because the thoughts can be quite random. The thoughts really have to fit in with the way you're thinking at the time before they become one of your favourites, if you know what I mean. So I am looking around, and I am looking to probably follow a few more people, but I'm more interested in following people that lead by example. And you guys, you certainly fit that particular frame. You definitely lead by example. And the girls, even the girls that had the courage to speak up when a lot of the elders were telling them to get out the Kingdom Hall, those girls that admitted to what had happened to them abuse-wise, I found quite sorrowful, but at the same time I just felt as if I was really proud that they were able to say what they had to say, knowing that there is so much stigma attached with admitting to an abuse. So the girls have done absolutely phenomenal, and I take a lot of credit their way as well. Yeah, I'm sure that this is just the start, guys. I can see you taking this in another direction. I do hope that you remain humble, and none of you become a superstar and want superstar status, because to me what you did was a collective effort, much the same as a band. There's no one more important member than the other, is what a lot of managers used to say to bands, because they wanted to keep their feet firmly on the ground. And they must have said that with the Beatles and the Stones. Even though someone has to write the songs and someone has to do the arranging, it's nice to know that you as a group, so to speak, can all act with humility, so that you can show and set an example to everyone else that who was thinking of doing this. You've shown them the way, and you've made it a lot easier for people to follow you now. Right, I'm rambling on a bit now, and I should really shut up. But my final message is, no matter who you are on YouTube, even if you're one of those that don't go out in this activism particular exercise, and that's me, because I don't have the courage that you guys have got, I still think that collectively, everybody, no matter who they are, JD Suicides, The Unreluctant, I'm Awake, Kim and Mikey, Living Truth, The Son of Thunder, you've all done your thing. You've done it your way, and you've stood up to bully elders. And I think of the Son of Thunder here. He stood up to those bully elders, but he did it in the most dignified way. He simply told them the truth. Why are you being disfellowshipped for telling the truth? Please tell me, how can anybody be disfellowshipped for telling the truth? I've been before elders before. I told the truth. I'm not disfellowshipped. I know they wanted to disfellowship me, but I had to point out to them that everything I said I could prove 100%. I'm thinking maybe now is the time for you guys to be exonerated. After all, you have now proven many, many facts. You have proven that there has been a culture of cover-up. So what you've been disfellowshipped for and shunned for should be revoked. It should be taken back, because it's not right. It isn't right. The governing body probably owe you an apology. Tony and the boys, you know, if they had anything about them, they'd go in the back room and they'd say, how can we disfellowship people for telling the truth? But they just didn't like it because you stood up to them. You stood up to bullies. And that is where the respect is, the proper respect. You stood up to bullies. Thank you very much, you're brilliant.